everyone. Welcome to the live. This live it's going to be in conjunction with a TikTok live that I'm doing with Mimat. It's going to be a TikTok live, so I would probably be looking more into my TikTok than into the screen here. But you will be able to hear all the conversations that'll be going on the TikTok, and for you to be able to kind of participate. I will try and pick up some of the questions that you have here as well. So join this live. This live is going to be more about let me even try and figure out the topic, because it's not really more about the it's not really much about NHS itself. It's more about employee relation things that you might have. Hold on, let me just get the topic. Oh goodness, where's the topic? Um, okay, where's the topic now? Sorry, guys, I'm just trying to find the topic. Where are you? Where are you? Oh, where is it? So it's about employee disputes faced in organizations. So myself and a lawyer would be kind of anchoring that session. It will be more on, I know what I couldn't see. I've told you guys that my eyesight is really, really bad. I've told you guys. So I'm having to put on my glasses more than I usually do. I've been actually wearing glasses for a very long time, but I think it's not even being corrective anymore. It's just like it's getting worse and worse. So yes, so this live, well, is going to be more about employment disputes faced in organizations. So myself and a lawyer will kind of be anchoring that live together with on Mimat's TikTok channel. So if you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel, and I'll be more than happy to what's called. I'll be more than happy to what's called have you on my channel, and for you to get updates as to any new videos that I have dropping and things like that. So yes, so I look forward to seeing you on there. I'm going to just jump into this live now on there. So yes, you guys will be able to hear me um while we're there. So yeah.
Regardless of the age, because people say, "Oh, my sister is young." We have a client that is inviting a friend, just a friend that they were in high school together, and the visa was approved because it was really documented. They have pictures of when they were in school. The friend stayed out his business. The friend was not even married. They did these traditional weddings that they don't have all these Muslim weddings that they just give the guy, but he has picture every day. He has a wife, the children.
So yeah, I'm just on the live, and I think they're talking about stuff to do with immigration now. So
people
yeah.
people should always plan, especially
So yes,
when they are coming for
if you have any questions, please ask. And if you have any question, please ask, and I would
their own personal circumstance for it to be
I would what's it called?
We have a
Let you.
The client had to
Yep.
spend 3 months just for planning to be approved than being refused because of you want the person to come in the haste. So we can go on and on together, but I'll just put it out. If anybody has a question for me to answer, for what if the person is retired as a business person and retired as an employment. If you are a business person before and you've been retired, you know that business does not collect pension. So you must
So yeah.
where the funds is coming from.
Any questions? Hi, good evening. Hi, Buka. Good evening. Hiya. How are you? The topic today is really about employment disputes in the UK. So if you're having any issues, okay, let me just put it here. Employment. Oh goodness. Employment. Disputes. I can't even spell. Yeah.
With 85,000 naira
So things that happen within your working, things that happen in the UK, anything to do with your employment law, or anything to do with any issues you're having at work. There's a solicitor on the TikTok channel. There's a solicitor on the TikTok channel, and myself. So I will be looking at it from the point of view of HR personnel in work, and the lawyer will be looking at it from the law side of things. So, kind of like a two-pronged approach. So, but if you have any questions about anything, I can always mute myself on TikTok to answer your questions. Yeah, but I think my focus mainly is for you guys to really enjoy this session. Yeah. 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 Any questions you guys have, please let me know. And I think I'm gonna also pin the I'm gonna pin the masterclass as well into this live so that you guys can have that. I'm gonna pin the live as well. I mean the masterclass. This masterclass, by this time next week, I'll be having this masterclass. Next week. So yes, I'm really looking forward to it. My hair is just all over the whole place. I'm really looking forward to it. So yes. So yeah. But if you have any questions, they're still talking about other stuff at the moment. But if you have any questions, let me know and I'll be more than happy to answer your questions. I think it's only Buka that is here now. So yeah. So thank you so much for coming. We're still talking about anything NHS, everything employment law, anything recruitment questions, interview questions, and all. Please ask your questions. Yeah, please ask your questions. Please ask your questions. Yeah, so. Mm. I'm just trying to just publish the live. Responsible for. And now that the UK has increased their security level because there's a spike in asylum seekers, people will come. So yes, when they come for visa, you go and do asylum. So yes. Now, because of the spike. So yes. In all these routes that they come in genuine route, like student visa, visitor visa. So please, yeah. Any questions? Oh, yesterday I asked about what. Oh, sorry, I was meant to. Oh, I'm so sorry, Ebuka. He asked about when they say I follow clinical governance in person specification. I think the clinical governance part of things is more about what it means to be. Let me get the right answer for you. The Oh my goodness. I need to mute myself. Actually, I need to mute myself because I have a phone call.
can ask questions.
Sorry, guys, about that.
Once they ask questions,
I had to take one of my clients' phone calls that just called me. Is a bit upset about stuff that he's going through, and which is even part of what's it called, which is part of what I do, or part of this conversation we're meant to be having today, in terms or the live I'm actually on now, in terms of the live that I'm on at the moment. Yeah. So sorry about that. People that have just joined. If you've just joined, I'm on a live on TikTok where we're talking about UK employment disputes within organizations, especially in the NHS as well. If people are going through so much stuff or so many kind of stuff in our work, and you don't really know where to turn, especially when you're new in the country, it's quite difficult. So yeah. So if you have that kind of issues, what's it called? If you have those kind of issues, this will be a good time for you guys to watch and just get kind of acquainted and know the help that is available to you. So yes. Yeah. Okay.
Solutions to their problem. It's not until you book a consultation before you get the solution to your problem. You can always ask questions whilst on TikTok or whilst you're on a platform like this. You can always get an answer to your problem. So the second part now is going to be about UK employment dispute. Okay, I would like to say, guys, let's start. Secondly, if this is your first time on this platform, welcome on board. Thanks for joining this live tonight. I am the regular host on this platform, Mima Posh, and we have a community where we run.
So the person that is talking at the moment now,
solutions, advice.
Yes, the person that is talking right now is the host of this platform. So she's Mimat Posh. She has a big following on TikTok, where she kind of brings a lot of Nigerians, or I'll say Africans, together, where she kind of lets you know the kind of things that are available, how to get things around. Yeah, so she's kind of introducing me at the moment.
Lots of information. So welcome on board, my sister, and we have Margarita, my sweetheart. She's here also tonight.
Yeah. So
I would like to how do we want to run it? Barrister, Shine February or HR Halley, how do you want us to go about it so we can just comment and people can start,
Okay, good evening, everyone. I think HR Halley should go first. HR Halley, correct.
Yeah. Yes, thank you very much. I think for me, with UK employment or things that happen at work, I think it's all about protecting yourself.
Do you want me to put you on the bigger screen?
It doesn't really matter. Yeah. I think for me, it's more about protecting yourself and ensuring that you're covered. What I say to every international nurse that comes into the NHS is for you to join the union. Join the union within any trust that you are. It doesn't matter which union you join. Just join the union. I think I'm not even sure how much union is. Sorry, I'm just trying to Google how much union fees are. It's really a nominal amount of money they take out of your account every month. I think when I looked at it a couple of years ago, I think it was about £10 or so every month that you need.
I think it's 15 now.
Okay, I think it maybe £15 now. When I looked at it a couple of years, it was around £10, but if it's £15 now, it is still a disregarded amount of money. That would buy you, what is £15 a month? Say a box of noodles. I think I just bought noodles the other day. So a box of noodles a month. That's what it is. And even if you go to like McDonald's, you'll have spent that money. Oh, someone said it's £20. Oh, some people are saying from £11. Okay. Anyways, it's less than £30 a month. I would say. Join the union. They will be there to protect you. They'll be there to have your backs. All to recognize you. And don't just join any decorated union. Make sure it's a recognized union that you're joining when you're coming into the employment. Make sure it's a recognized union, because although that some organizations, some NHS organizations still let you bring in union that are not recognized, you will have more standing power when there is a recognized union. So when you're in trouble, when something goes wrong, you have those people there to guide you and to be with you. If you go and join a union after the fact of whatever has happened, they will not be able to take that case on. They'll say you have to have joined them for at least 3 months prior to that event happening. It's just like you trying to get health insurance now after there's a already diagnosed problem and all that. They wouldn't be able to look after you for the pre-existing conditions. It has to be something new. So as long as you're joining the union, once you start, that is all that matters for you. With HR, we ensure that when we're looking at each person's case, we're looking at it from a very fair point of view. A lot of people think that HR is for the organization. Yes, we're protecting the organization, but we're also looking out for you. And if you have a very strong union at your side, you'll always get that pushback, and they would definitely try to ensure that whatever happens, they protect you because they are their member and they need to look out for you. It's not in all cases that you would win that case, especially if it's a very serious allegation and all that. But there's always fairness. And that's what I think need you people to understand, that there's always fairness. Anyways, the cases I handle, I always ensure that I handle them fairly, because I'll look at it that there's a human being at the end of all this. I've had situation, I think before I left my last role, I don't know where I was telling that. I think not me myself, but I think for that last 2 months, I was just doing a lot of disciplinaries. And I think we let about nearly 4 nurses go. There were some really, really diabolical things that some of those nurses have done, and we had to let them go. We've had to report them to the NMC and all that kind of stuff. And they would, in most cases, those pins will be revoked. So you need to ensure that you're also protecting yourself. This is not, wherever home country you're coming from, this is not there. Care, patient safety, patient care is taken as paramount. You need to love what you do. If you don't love being a nurse, if you don't love taking care of people, please don't go into nursing. Please don't go into nursing. Please don't go into healthcare, especially if you are hands-on clinical facing. Because if you do something wrong, people are watching you without you knowing. If you do something wrong, they would come after you. Not just come after you, they will come after your pen. And that is your livelihood. If they're taking away your livelihood, it's as if they've taken away the food from the front of your face. So when they've taken away the food from the front of your face, how are you expected to survive? This country is hard on its own. Although that there are mechanisms here to kind of help you, it's still hard. So make sure that in as much as you may not love what you do, you need to at least like it. And you need to at least make sure that you're following all the policies that have been set out. Those policies take time for us to write. And anyone that is going and deviating from the policies would definitely have themselves to blame when things happen. If they say you're meant to start work at 9 o'clock, or is it 7 to 7, depending on the shift that you guys do at your workplace, start at 7. Before 7, you should be there. Not that you'll be getting there 7:10. I mean 7:10, now 8 o'clock, and say, oh, nothing can happen. All those extra time that you've missed, maybe that's when the time for handover, that you missed all those vital information. If vital information has been passed at the beginning of the shift and you were not there, and you then miss it. I remember a case of this nurse that didn't know that this patient was what's it called, do not resuscitate. And which is a very good example actually, because of the fact that it wasn't there at the beginning of the shift. Because when we did all the investigation, we found out that he missed the handover that morning. He didn't realize that patient the patient was normally, you can resuscitate the patient, but the patient then moved from do not resuscitate because the family said, okay, the patient was going through a lot, and if it was the wishes of the patient anyways, that if the at this point now, don't resuscitate, if anything happens, do not resuscitate. because that nurse missed that handover that morning from new information that had been added to that patient. They then had to, when an emergency happened and was the only one there, he resuscitated the patient, pressed the buzzer, all the doctors came, and because they already started resuscitating, they continued from that point until one of the doctors picked up the file and going through the file and I said, oh, hold on, you have to stop, that this patient is, do not resuscitate. And what happened as a result of that? We went through disciplinary process. The patient was found, it was given, what's it called? It was dismissed effectively, it was dismissed effectively from work. Not only that, we had to take the case to the NMC as well. So those are the consequences of you not being there. That's a very extreme case, yes, but those are the different consequences. So in terms of things that happen at work as well, you need to ensure that you're covering yourself. Make sure that you're not in putting yourself in situations that would warrant for things to be questioned. Make sure that you follow the rules. If it's documentation, make sure that you're doing everything right according to what they've set out. Do not cut corners, because in the times of cutting corners, that's when mistakes happen, especially those people that have to do with like sleeping, night shifts and all that. Try as much as possible. If you know you don't have power to do night shift, don't do night shift. Do day shift and God will help you. Because if they are caught sleeping, that is disciplinary. If you're caught sleeping at work, that's a disciplinary on the night shift because you're being paid to look after people. It might not even be your nurse that even reports you, it might be the patient themselves. Especially, I'm sure people that do domiciliary cares and all that kind of stuff. It might not even be your colleagues that are going to report you. It's the people that you're actually meant to be watching. They will film you. They would sometimes lie on you and all that. As long as you have evidence that you're not doing that thing, you'll be fine. So you just need to make sure that you're covering yourself and ensure that you have the policies and you're following the policies to the letter. I think that's where I'm going to kind of stop, just to ensure that people are engaged with the process. And even when you're even going through a process at work, you need to make sure that you have your own facts. When they ask you for information, provide the information quickly. Do not start saying but if. Be truthful in everything that you're going to do. Be truthful. Don't try to look for corners. Don't like to cut corners because we do thorough investigation. You think that we're detectives sometimes. We analyze, we check videos frame by frame. We have forensics analysts that do a lot of stuff. You don't even want to know some things that we do. we do it frame by frame when we kind of, and especially when it's a case of and what's it called, when you're what do you call this thing, when you're in looking after patients, especially the mental health patients, and I've forgotten that, when you oh goodness, what's it called?
Margareta, can you borrow half the word?
Yeah,
Safeguarding. Is it
it's not this. It's like it's not safeguard. It's when when they teach you how to handle patients and all that. I'm trying to remember what it's called.
Moving and handling.
It's not moving and handling. It's a training that you have to do. That you. It's called peace. Sorry.
Is that manual handling?
It's not manual handling. It's a training that you do about restraints and things like that. Yes, yeah, your PMVA. Thank you. Oh my goodness, that took me a while. Your PMVA and all that. Make sure that, because there are some cases, especially for mental health cases and mental health wards and all those kind of places, you need to ensure that you're following the right PMVA method. A lot of people have lost their jobs because they haven't followed PMVA methods. You've retaliated to the patients. As a result of that, you lose your job. Even though the patient might be the one to attack you first, you need to disengage and move away. You don't then go further. You don't want to know some cases I've heard, some things that I've seen as during the course of my career in the NHS. I'm like, I'm never going to let you anywhere near me, even because of what I've seen. I'm like, I'm going to throw the book at you. I am going to ensure that they take your pain. That's how upset I am when I see the evidence that has been mounted against you. It's sometimes it's so disheartening. That's why if you know you have a hot temper, especially, and things easily upset you, mental health, and those kind of words are not for you. Try and stick away from there, because you don't know what one patient can do or say to you that will just make you flare up. And then that will cost you your livelihood. Just be careful always. I think just protect yourself, be a part of the union. And when things happen, always know that you have rights. Don't just say because something has happened, you leave that trust or you resign. We will continue that case. And you're not there to defend yourself by the time you've left. You're not there to defend yourself. Whatever we find without your input, we'll take that to a hearing. And whatever happens in that hearing, you're not there as well. That's what we're going to use to act on. If it's so serious that we've acted on it to the point that we need to refer you to the NMC, we'll refer you to the NMC. So not always, you don't have to run away.
Reporting to the NMC. What is your gain from that? Why are you guys saying that?
Our gain is that we're taking away a dangerous person from being a nurse. That is our gain. We're removing someone that we don't feel is fit to practice from the profession of nursing. Because the NMC cannot see everything. Once they've given you your PIN, because it's a body, once they've given you your PIN, that's it. It is up to each organization to look after those PINs and to look after the nurses that work in those organizations. If a nurse has, for example, in the mental health trust, attacked a patient back, this patient already has mental health issues. The patient might or might not know what they're doing. It is not up to you, because you've gotten all the training and you've told you how to restrain yourself and all that, how to back away, how to handle those kind of patients, and we've taught you how to do it. But you now forget your training and attack the patient back. You're not following the code of conduct of the NMC. So it's up to the NMC, based on all the evidence that we're going to submit to the NMC, for them to make that decision of either to strike you off or not to strike you off, or call you to a hearing. You would have another hearing with it. They will not just strike you off like that. It's a whole process. We would have to fill this very long documents that takes me sometimes a couple of days to finish filling, because there are loads of questions that you need to answer for the NMC. But you have to really justify to the NMC before the NMC actually even allows you to fill the form. You have to first have a conversation with one of the agents of the NMC and explain to them the reason why you're calling to report a nurse or report a doctor, a nurse to them.
Well, in this case, someone is asking, let me say a mental health patient attacks you.
Yeah.
The question is, so what happens to reasonable force when you are attacked by a patient?
You disengage. You move.
The person is trying to choke you.
You release yourself. That's why you've been taught all the tactics.
Okay, let me say this, because I have a case whereby this person has a court case as we speak now.
Good.
And what happened? I think he was looking after this mental health patient, and the person was hit on the head by this set of people, and along the line, he had injury in the brain. Okay. He was rushed to the hospital, and for about 6 months to 1 year, he was hospitalized.
Okay.
So in this case now, they filed the reports, a court case, because the family are trying to claim for damages
of the nurse.
So this person is even an healthcare worker. So in a situation like this, would you say I would sit down looking at, I know I can disengage, try, but if I find myself in a situation whereby I'm being choked by 2 or 3 people, what do you expect me to do?
That's why you never work alone in those kind of organizations. You will never work by yourself in an NHS organization, for example. You would never be by yourself in that kind of situation. You would always have at least 2 people working together in that point. If a patient chokes you or something, that's why you've been taught all your PMVA kind of techniques to try and disengage, to try and call for help, to have your panic button, you have your cameras, you have everything on you to be able to protect yourself. And there are ways that you would know things are going to escalate quickly, or things are going to escalate from a patient, how the patient is presented and all that. And you shouldn't really put yourself at arm's length, in harm's way, for a patient to do that to you. If a patient has injured you, definitely you need to try as quickly as possible to move away from that patient, to move away from that situation that you find yourself, and press the buzzer and call for help. And that in that kind of situation, if at the end of the day you then get injured, then it is not for you to do anything to the patient. It's for you to try and get yourself away, get yourself to be seen in the medical hospital. I'm really sorry to hear about this person that was hospitalized for nearly a year. And the person definitely is entitled to seek for damages from that trust or from that organization that they work for. That's why we have insurance.
They're not ready to pay for damages. They're not ready.
There has to be a reason why they're not ready to pay. Because if there's evidence,
maybe they've taught her she ought to restrain, this excuses, all these small organizations, you know what they say. And it's just been back and front between the family and this person. And this person, she's damaged, she can't walk.
So that kind of thing, it's definitely going to be a court case. That's why I was thinking that this is not an NHS organization, because in that kind of organization, there would be cameras everywhere. There will be cameras for you to be able to get evidence of you trying to escape, you using all your PMVA methods to try and disengage yourself from that client, from that patient, to free yourself. And in this situation where you've now been harmed, they are liable because you work for them. They are liable and they have insurance to be able to cover all those things. They're just trying to be stingy, but they have insurance to cover that. I'm sure the solicitor will be able to tell you that they have insurance to cover that, for them to pay for the damages to that person.
All right.
Yeah.
So, Barrister Lawal, do you want to comment in this case? And I'm still expecting the other person you talked about. So, do you want to comment? And what if I am killed?
I'm just laughing because, to be very honest, this is very interesting. It's always good to hear from the other side of the divide. It's not always good to be a one way, and it's good to hear from HR ally. And I'm just laughing. I'm like, okay, this is why I always fight all this HR every day. In terms of
we are ready. We're always ready for you people. We're always ready. We're ready.
So the thing is that reputational risk is very important.
Oh yeah.
As an HR, so you consider that first, especially if you work with like a public organization like NHS. Two things are important. One, public sector equality duty. Two, Equality Act when you are taking decisions.
Yeah.
I'm talking from the angle of law now, but not to digress too much. I'm here to speak about the Employment Rights Act 2025 tonight, which has changed many things in terms of employer-employee relationship and employment disputes. So when the Charela mentioned that there is camera, I'm like, oh, so if somebody strangulates me and I die, what happens to my life? Because I have the right to dignity. I have the right to my life. Nobody can take my life unjustly. So if person can't hold me for neck now, I'm going to say professional. I'm not going to give her a like they give her paper. I don't want to give her more.
I'll be giving.
Oh my goodness.
In as much as it is important that safeguarding be taken seriously, welfare of workers is also equally very important, because no life has more value than the other. We all have the same life, whether you are Donald Trump or one man in the village and all that. So we have our right to dignity of persons, our right to dignity of labor and all that. You get my point now. So
if someone is fully employed and treating patients, and after assessment and education, the patient and procedure to follow does not.
That's just been passed into law. And then this
please, sir, guys, please share the live. Please, the barrister, this is the barrister talking. And at this stage, this is a new law which has just been passed.
Yeah.
There is no point we being here and we don't have enough people to know this. We all need to know this. And I can't just bring people to this live without you guys not having the information. It's really unfair. It makes no sense. Guys, please share. Let's share at this stage before you start talking. There are 2 lawyers coming on board this night. Share this live. Let's bring more people into this live. Please, let's share. Let's share. Share it to everyone so that people can comment. Let's like it as well. Share and like. Sorry about that. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, he's here. Talkman Badejo. I don't know his and.
So can you send me a request, Mr. Talkman Badejo? I can't see him. Or can you just say hello in the comment section? I'll bring you up, sir.
Okay, so
okay, is that Mr. Bidemi? This person?
Yes.
Yeah, I think he's.
Oh, welcome on board. Guys, tonight, just to let you know, we have 2 baristas on this live tonight.
Okay.
Barrister Temi and Barrister Lawal. So
Ebuka, I don't understand this your question here.
They should be able to answer them as well as HRO Hala. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mimat. Just to do like a kind of a glance through the new law, which is employment rights.
Is that the same for learning disabilities as well?
Now, before an employee can bring a claim for unfair dismissal, that employee must have worked with the employer for 2 years. But from 1st of January 2027, that is changing. As long as you work for 6 months, your employer can no longer summarily dismiss you. You'll be able to bring a claim before the tribunal for unfair dismissal. And you can claim compensation, which no longer has a cap on it. Before now, there's a cap on compensation. It's either your 52 weeks gross pay and about £220,000 compensation. But now there's no longer cap on it. It means you can claim compensation of as much as 500k if you can prove it before the tribunal. Again, before now, if you are unfairly dismissed, you have 3 months to bring the case before the tribunal. It has also been extended to 6 months. So you have more time to fight HR ally if you summarily dismiss it unjustly.
We would not do that in the NHS. We have process and procedures.
It's just a job, HR.
I know. We are finding all these new changes very interesting. We are having to change a lot of our policies, especially probations and all those ones. It's fun times for us.
Yeah,
Fun times.
Fixed term contracts.
Oh yeah.
All that.
Yeah, we're loving it.
Even redundancy. So going forward, before I lose my thoughts.
Sorry.
So also on 0 hours contracts, also from 2027, there will no longer be anything called 0 hours contract anymore. All employees must have their guaranteed hours. And then there's no dime minute cancellation of shift. You will be paid for that if your shift is cancelled at the dime minutes. So there are a lot of changes, including redundancy. So for redundancy, there must be a kind of consultation by the employers. So I think there's a trigger clause there. I believe my colleague, Victor Probadejo, will shed more light on that later. But as far as I know, redundancy, you cannot just be declared redundant without consultation. Now, there has to be consultation. And then if that is done, the employer is at the risk of paying a compensation of up to, one second,
2 years with any organization does not mean you cannot quit.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. So the redundancy period has also doubled from I think 90 days to 180 days now. So it means that if your employer just all of a sudden made you redundant and all that, so instead of paying you for 90 days, they will now have to pay you for 180 days. So as a matter of fact, fixed term contract as well. So if it's a 6 or 7 months plus fixed term contract, the person can also have the right for unfair dismissal. And to cap it all now, there's a body called Fair Work Agency. They are like an enforcement body. That if your
That's so true.
employer, maybe you feel they have
That's so true.
unfairly dismissed you or constructively dismissed you, because there's what we call constructive dismissal, and there's what we call unfair dismissal, and then wrongful dismissal. So these are issues of employment law that we all have to take seriously. So you can take your employer to the Fair Work Agency. So all those detective job that the HR ally are doing, so the Fair Work Agency will now do more. They will touchlight everything to see where they have wronged the employer and all that, and then enforce against them. They can even, on behalf of the employee, take them to the employment tribunal. So when we talk about gross misconduct at work, I believe that our HR ally has been speaking from the point of NHS based on our own experience. I want to strongly believe that there are other people that are working in other sectors there, like construction and all that. So I got to know that most of HR, they tend to mix up issue of competency with misconduct. If a nurse is not competent, okay, the appropriate penalty is to retrain that nurse, create reasonable adjustments and all that before you dismiss the person. If you summarily dismiss the person and the person take you to the tribunal, they may likely get claims against the employer, because the employer will say, no, this is, in law there's what we call Wednesbury unreasonableness. That is, the conclusion you come to is not logical. No reasonable man can come to this conclusion. That because I really don't know how to do medication, and then you now say that is a gross misconduct. No, that is not a gross misconduct. That is a competency issue. You understand my point now?
Yes.
So what is the penalty for that? No, dismissal. Retrain the person.
That conversation that is having there. No. For you not to be able to do something, there's a capability process. If it's within the probation period, that will be handled under probation. If after probation you find that you're not competent in your job, there's a capability process, which the first informal process will take place. Then, if you are not then competent, which is about maybe 6 to 8 to maximum of 12 weeks for informal process, then the formal processes start. Not just dismiss you. No, we don't do that in NHS anyways. There are different processes, and it is in our policy. And if you are part of the union, they will never let us dismiss you, because we have to go to a hearing for us to be able to dismiss you from the NHS.
Yes, sir.
So what the employer should do is to send me on more trainings. Or maybe let's say report writing, for instance, because that also puts people in problems.
Yeah.
So you send me on more training and retraining rather than dismissing me. Because if I don't know something, I don't know it. You can even dismiss me based on performance-related issue, not misconduct. That can never be a misconduct. You understand my point now? So going forward a bit, in law, procedure is very important.
Even in HR, procedure is very important.
They will be the prosecutor, and at the same time, they will be the judge.
Hey, Jesus, we're in trouble with this guy.
Sometimes HRs will do one-sided investigation. No, that's also not correct.
There's always balance of probability every time.
We don't know our rights. all those people, they really know their rights and they are very smart. And then we are always too scared, like, I don't give me serious. No. Victimization is important. Equality Act is there to defend you. You can raise it. You have protected characteristics, even as an immigrant, even the fact that your visa status.
I'm just typing all investigations.
You understand my point? You can even raise that as a defense that you treated me unfairly because you know
always on the balance of probability.
Because you know I cannot resign. Because you know I'm at your mercy in this country. You understand my point now? So these are issues. So from the part of the employers, it is important that we do a proper investigation. We cannot be the prosecutor and be the judge at the same time. And another thing is that when you are testing evidence, testing of veracity of evidence is also very important. For example, now you rely on a one-sided report of a staff against another staff that this person was sleeping. And then the next thing, you dismiss the person. That, he was sleeping. You understand? Where is the evidence? You cannot rely on a single uncorroborated evidence. Even if you now video the person and you have a video, okay, what about the GDPR? What about the data protection laws? All these evidences, you cannot use them as a tribunal. And then if the employee now takes to the tribunal and you manage to win the case, you will pay what is called basic award, and then you also pay other compensation, damages and all that, financial loss, and what they will calculate everything. You even pay for the cost of the action. You will pay the
lawyer fees,
lawyer's fee, and everything. And by doing so, you might put your employer into like 30,000, 40,000 risk.
It's always a law.
You understand my? Not to talk of maybe
time.
BBC or CNN just came to court that day. Reputational damage.
Yeah.
It's also very important. So these are the issues that we, as employers, we have to take very seriously.
Yeah.
And as employees, we also have to really know our rights. It is very important. I've mentioned about Fair Work Agency, and then there's also ACAS.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
We love them.
There's also ACAS. Okay, so I don't believe in union. To me, maybe because I'm a lawyer, because there's nothing union can do for you than to come to the meeting and witness what is happening. They cannot argue your case for you.
They do try.
The union cannot argue your case for you. All they are just there for is to witness if the right procedures are followed and all. That is what they are there for. And as a matter of fact, you got to know your union through your employers. So indirectly, your employer is also your union.
Really?
So I'm not saying people should not join union, but I'm saying I don't have any belief in union or whatsoever. So what is important is that review your contract, know your rights, know your responsibilities, and act accordingly. Yeah. Secondly,
the unions are separate from the NHS.
As soon as
they are a separate entity, they are a separate body, and they do not mess around.
Go and read dress code. Go and read what according to their own Bible, which is the employer. What is misconduct? What is gross misconduct? They will list everything there. You will see it. So if anybody come and report to you, and somebody investigates or somewhere say, I've read this thing, I can conclude that this is misconduct. And then you take the person back. Your own employer handbook says misconduct is this, misconduct is this, misconduct is this. This is the allegation. I don't think it falls under misconduct. You have already won the case dead on arrival before you even engage any lawyer. So it is important that we know our rights. It is important that we conquer all fear, because we fear too much in this country, we immigrants. I don't want them to dismiss me. I don't want them to report me. They will cancel my serious. They will do this, they will do that. You don't need to be scared too much. Even mostly, if they now go and report you to DBS, DBS is not stupid. they will transfer all the file to the DBS, and DBS will look at it and they will tell you no further action. You and be doing your work. And then if DBS feels you have
I don't know.
What is it called? A case to answer. They will.
I think for me, I gave a very balanced approach in my explanation at the beginning, but the solicitor seems to be on the attack of this whole situation.
I'll come back, and for now, maybe my friend Mr. Badejo, can also come
Thank you very much, Mima. Thank you very much, everyone, for giving me the platform to speak today. My colleague here has spoken. I mean, I don't even know what I can add to what he has said. He has covered almost everything I would have mentioned. But I need to also stress one point particularly regarding what he mentioned about procedure. You see, the thing about internal policies and procedure is that they must be compliant with the law, right?
Always.
So if you want to dismiss someone, the dismissal itself is one thing. The procedure you follow in arriving at that dismissal is another separate thing. So there's the substantive dismissal itself, and there's this procedural aspect of it. If you fail on either side to do the right thing, you are opening yourself up to a lot of challenges, right? And what I usually advise is this: as an employee, and like Mr. Lawal has rightly said, as an employee, you should not, even if you've been shown CCTV evidence about what has happened, and it appears that you are guilty from that video, that is not the end of your case.
It is not.
Speak to a solicitor. There's something called mitigation in law, right? Even if the tribunal says, "Oh, based on what we have seen in this video,
do not admit, don't beg,
exactly.
Don't say sorry.
Do not admit, exactly. Don't say sorry.
Let them put their case. If it's for you to be quiet, just keep quiet. Don't say anything. Let them draw an adverse inference from that.
Internal processes.
Because the word sorry means you are accepting what they accused you of.
Exactly. You only apologize for something you've done wrong. You don't apologize for doing good, right? So it's very important. And the thing about this country that we need to understand is our background is really affecting a lot of our people. They don't understand the cultural dynamics of this environment. You don't just say sorry, and that's why sometimes when you say sorry to British people, they'll be like, "What did you do? You didn't do anything. So why did you say sorry?" What do you mean by sorry? So you need to choose your words carefully. If you don't know what to say, like Mr. Lawal just said, don't talk at all.
Mr. Valley, sorry to cut you. I was a victim of that recently when I went on my leave, and then so many emails were waiting for me and all that. So I emailed the solicitor like, "Apologies, I've been on my annual leave." But the next day he called me, "Why are you apologizing for going on leave?" It's your right. You have to go on leave. You don't need to apologize. So you can continue.
Respect. That's the right word. Over respect.
Exactly. And these people are very smart. They can detect your timidity, your lack of confidence. They can detect it from a mile away. So they can use that against you. And if you keep saying sorry, they're like, "Oh, we've got him where we want to get him." So the point I'm making is this: regardless of how big the evidence against you is, speak to a solicitor. Try not to say things that will put you in trouble, or keep quiet. That's the best thing to do, is to keep quiet. We all know the saying, silence is the best answer for a fool, right?
Hey.
So that's the important thing to do. And then there's something called mitigation, like I was saying. Mitigation in the sense that even if the tribunal says, "Oh, we have considered the entire circumstances. Based on these circumstances, we think your conduct was below the standard, right? Your performance was below the standard. However, we have also considered that there are other factors that might have affected your performance or what you did. For instance, you'll be talking about safeguarding. I'm currently handling a case where a safeguarding issue is involved. This person was accused of, of not reporting injuries on a resident.
Okay.
Right? The resident had some physical bruises. Meanwhile, during the care episode, this same person was punched twice by the resident. Right? He was punched twice, but because of the heat of the moment and everything, he tried to manage it with a smile. Right? And the funny thing is, when I started reviewing all the documents against him, all the witnesses that the management presented against this person were all saying that he was appearing not to take the incident seriously. So he was trying to wear a smile on his face so that it won't look as if there has been a problem. Meanwhile, these people are smart enough to know that in such situations, you don't even smile. You don't smile when you have just been assaulted by a resident, right? So they did not report his own assault. They did not even document it, which is what we are going to be fighting them on. We are currently appealing that dismissal. But the point I'm making is they refuse to even consider his own part because he was smiling, and they've used that evidence against him, right? To say,
he shouldn't have been crying.
He should have. There's a way
taking himself out of that situation.
Know how to,
he should have taken himself.
How to act as a Nigerian. We only know how to act on Twitter.
He should have removed himself from that situation. That's what he should have done.
You should know how to. There's something called emotional intelligence. You should know how to convert your emotions to fit those circumstances and tell a proper story. Because at the end of the day, this is where these people are good at that we are not good at. We are not good at us.
I think I should have done it this way.
On Twitter
but I want to see what's going on as well.
But when it comes to real life situations, we don't know how to approach such situations. So what I'm trying to say in essence is that assault is a clear mitigation factor in this situation. If he doesn't follow any procedure, even if you fail to follow procedure at that point in time, that assault alone will continue to constitute a mitigation factor in his favor. Why? Because it is clear there are several decisions from the tribunal that say that, for instance, there was a case, OKK, and one other company. This is in Nigeria now, a Nigerian case, and they were like, no, in this whole situation, this guy is not really his fault, right? They were like, no, this is not really something that is his fault. You should have trained him more. That's one case. There are other cases where they said, look, this person must have acted based on the heat of the moment. So tribunals also understand that human beings have emotions. They know that as a carer, you might have some emotional imbalance during an episode with a patient of the resident assaulted you. So they will consider these factors, right? And let me also make this very clear, right? It is almost in every case that I'm aware of that any internal process, you have a process of disciplinary hearing, and then after that you go to appeal. All of that is internal. Most of those internal processes, they run foul of the law.
Hey.
I can tell you that from a
Jesus. Hey. Oh my goodness. Wow.
Yes. The truth is, most times, if the employers don't fail on the dismissal itself, the reason for the dismissal itself, in substantiating that reason very well, clearly and documenting it properly, they will fail in carrying out the right procedure.
Wow.
For instance, Barrister Lawal mentioned something about somebody being the investigator and also being the judge.
I kind of disagree with that. I really disagree with that. I really do disagree with that.
Okay, so
yeah.
What do you disagree with? Let us be clear on that.
The fact that we are the judge and the jury at the same time. We're not the judge and the jury. And we don't, any decision we make, all the NHS organizations have worked, any decision we make, especially when it comes to cases of dismissal, before we make those decisions, in most cases, all those cases that we already know that might end up going to become a dismissal would have gone through the lawyers. We also have lawyers as well that we work with, that we have on retainers that we pay for.
You need to understand my context here, right? HRLI. I understand where you're coming from, but the context in which I'm speaking.
Mr. Manager, hold on. Okay. So sorry to interject you. I apologize for that.
Guys, we are here to share the light. What are you waiting for? Share.
I am a public law lawyer.
Okay.
As well as Mr. Abadijo. So we understand what you're talking about, 100%. So when I met that I deliberately mentioned PSED and Equality Act to give you a clue of who I am. You get my point now.
I do.
So the thing is that HR, wonderful people, they are well trained on human resources and all that. I give it to you guys. But when it comes to point of law, anything can twist the whole thing. And then
we can twist, or you guys can twist.
An organization as big as NHS will definitely have their legal services department. Now, I also advise people where I work. I won't mention that, but I'm a public law lawyer. You understand my point? So now let me give you a case study. You employed somebody, maybe let's say an admin assistant.
Yeah.
And then that person did not communicate at any point that they have a disability.
Yes.
And then at the end of the day, the employee is not capable. They were making repeated errors and all that. They were unable to use the software, the technology, and all that.
Okay.
And then you, as the manager, you offer them support, training, and all that.
Okay.
Then maybe at the end of the 3-month probation,
then
you confirm to them that
they've not passed.
You will not pass this probation.
Yes.
And then they now mention to you that no, I have dyslexia.
Okay.
I'm disabled.
Okay.
At that point, what will you do?
At that point, we will need to look at it in terms of not mentioned disability that has caused them to be at the point that they're at. Once they've mentioned any disability, we need to take that into consideration as to helping them to pass their probation. It's actually a case that I'm actually going through right now at the moment as well.
You will pay me for consultation.
Don't worry, I have my lawyers already that we're already paying. We're already paying lawyers and we're already consulting with the lawyers on this case. I know. We already have our lawyers that we're paying about this case. That's why I'm telling you that most of those cases that we handle, especially in situations like this, our case is a live case. I can't even really mention it, but that kind of situation, we need to put things in place for you to ensure that you pass that probation.
Reasonable adjustments.
Yes, by getting you all the softwares, all the help, all the support that you would need to successfully pass. You can't be on probation indefinitely. When we employed you for this role, first you did not mention this disability, so we could have put that from the beginning, from the onset for you. You didn't mention it. So that 3 months has passed. When you now realize, now I'm talking from the organizational point of view, you now realize that, I'm not going to pass my probation. My manager has told me I'm not going to pass my probation. I need to mention this disability because I thought I could be fine without mentioning this disability, especially for we Nigerians. We don't like to talk. We don't like to say things that is actually wrong with us. And they don't like to mention it. And you're putting yourself at a detriment. Instead of them being able to offer you that help from the beginning, you've not even said anything. So how can we offer? We don't read minds. We can't tell what you need unless you tell us. So now that after 3 months, you've now mentioned this disability, we'll now start looking for things to put in place for you. Getting all the right software. But normally, most organizations, their probation is 3 to 6 months. Our organization, ours is 6 months. So by month 4, we'll have told you you're not going to pass this probation. Hopefully, you use common sense to tell us then that you need help. Put everything in place. Extend you 6 months, extend you for 2 extra months. That's 8 months probation. After 8 months, you've not still passed. 1 extra month for you again. That's 9 months. I make sure that my managers document all these processes because, like you said, there are always kind of areas that we can fill. But if we're ensuring that we're following our policies, all our policies are written with the spirit of the law backing it up. So if a manager that has common sense follows the process, documents everything, 9 months and you've still not passed, are you now telling me that I cannot dismiss this person because this person has a disability? The person has been employed to do a job. This is a business. You need to understand that part as well. The person has been employed to do a job. 9 months, 9 months, they've not been able to pass probation.
It is a business, but the law does not run on emotions.
We're not running on emotions. We're running on the fact that you cannot do the job. We're running on black and white.
I appreciate your wealth of experience, and you are also very lucky that you work with
NHS. I've worked in the private sector. All this one that we are doing is too much talking. We're working private sector. They have no filter.
You don't want to see what's
please do well to follow them.
If you happen to see or to experience what all these small organizations are doing, you will laugh and laugh and laugh and laugh.
Trust me, I have some clients that come to me for help. Yeah, they come to me for help for those kind of things. It is shocking and very appalling.
So in law, there's what we call disability discrimination claim.
Yes.
It doesn't matter whether you've spent 3, 6 months, 9 months with the company.
I know.
Once your employer has a constructive notice of your disability, they
yes.
have to make a reasonable adjustment. They have to make an arrangement for like occupational
yes.
therapists,
yes.
assessment,
yes.
and all that. You understand my point? Because
yep.
If the case goes to the tribunal, it could go either way.
Of course.
That's one of the case studies on my front now. You understand my point?
Yeah.
So, my advice to HRL is that keep doing your good job. God will continue to guide and protect you.
Amen. I've only been, I think in...
Trying to familiarize yourself with the new Employment Rights Act 2025.
Trust me.
I know you must have been.
Oh, yes. As I just said, we're changing our policies to align with the new changes.
Do more on Equality Act and then public sector equality duty.
Yeah.
That is very important.
We have a whole team, or not a team, like 2 people.
In employment disputes, immigration, housing, judicial review, anything, they bring it up. They bring it up. Public sector equality duty is very, very important. So you consider the person. That is what Mr. Badejo has been trying to explain.
Yeah.
Mitigating circumstances. You consider all that, and then you consider the risk involved for the organization, the reputational damage, the financial, and all that, the cost of litigation. Because there are some cases that is better to quickly consider. On this one, maybe just give a final warning.
Without admission of guilt.
If there is no admission of guilt, and your decision is like based on balance of probability.
Always.
So if it's neither here nor there, so it's better maybe you recommend the one first. If maybe somebody that is your superior has to do, this person must go. At the end of the day, if your trust enter financial and all that, it's there in black and white that you have done your job, you have considered everything to say, let this person, you understand? Same as redundancy too. So there's no hide and seek redundancy anymore.
Yeah.
That's another very strong point.
I know. Now, this new redundancy changes. God help us.
Yeah, and then this new enforcement body that is coming in, Fair Work Agency. I think that has even come into us since April this year. So an employer can even report your organization or employee, to Fair Work Agency, and then they will investigate the whole allegation and do everything. They can even issue penalty. You understand? They have that power. It's there. It's the law now.
Yeah, they started in April.
January next year. The issue of he has not worked with us for 2 years. That one is in the past too.
I know.
6 months now.
I know.
The fixed term contract also is also there.
And
then if it is a rolling contract, you must renew it.
Yep.
Otherwise, you must show a genuine reason why you are not renewing it. So no employer can cut your salary anyhow anymore. You cannot cut it. You must show genuine reason. And there's financial hardship. There's this, there's that. And then in terms of a non-disclosure agreement, that has also been changed as well. NDAs. So you can't tell me not to disclose issue of maybe sexual harassment or anything in my workplace. No, I must blow the whistle. The law protects me. You understand? So these are
new laws,
changes, like revolutionary changes.
And I think it's more with the fact that the UK is now all our powers are not being restricted by the EU anymore. And I think that's why all these things are coming out now, which is all fair and good. Everyone, we want everyone to be working in an environment where they feel happy, safe, and secure. And we're all for the changes. And like I said, in my organization, all our policies are being changed to reflect all the new UK employment laws that have been changed in the last couple of months, and by the new one that is going to be changed by next year as well. So we're already working on all our policies to ensure that it reflects all these UK laws.
So now, Barrister Lawal, let me ask you a question. In regards to that a case, the case the lady was dismissed as a result of a safeguarding issue within 3 months. She wasn't a permanent member of the staff, she wasn't a permanent employee, but she was dismissed in this case. So what would you have done, or what would you have advised her to have done under normal circumstances? Would she have been able to claim from them or not?
So it depends on the fact of the case. For example, now if she has a disability and she has let them know, she can. Disability discrimination claim. And then we talk about the time to bring an action for unfair dismissal. So that will come to effect in January next year. So that will also not be applicable now. And then I also spoke about Fair Work Agency. I think she can give it a trial to write to Fair Work Agency to say these people, they dismiss me because of this, because of that. I feel I'm not guilty. They feel there's nothing I can do because I have not worked with them long enough to be able to bring an action for unfair dismissal. Okay, so if you bring an action for wrongful dismissal, they will just say, this one, let's just, wrongful dismissal is just for your 1 month pay leave now. They just pay you your 1 month and go. So there's no way there also. So the only reasonable way I can see now is probably to write to Fair Work Agency. It's 50-50 anyway. They might also say, okay, the law that allow you to bring a claim against these people will come into effect 1st of January next year. Or they may say, okay, we'll write to them and investigate it because it's a new body. And then, obviously, people are working there and they want to show the government that they are working. So they might likely take the case up. It's better than not fighting at all. So I think what the law tried to do now is to try to minimize a level of discrimination that the old law put in place. Because, for example, you're working for somebody, even in your 23rd month, you are still very scared, like, I don't know, they feel dismiss me. No. You understand my part? I'm not spending because
these smaller complaints. It's so
tomorrow morning you can call a lawyer. The first question the lawyer will ask is, how long have you worked with them? It's not supposed to be so. It's not supposed to be so. That's discrimination of the highest order. You get my. So that is what the law is trying to correct now. And then people keep selling their companies every day and all that. So that makes their staff become redundant. So there is also stricter listing on that. And then you cannot just dismiss somebody, and then replace the person with another.
That is naughty.
Employee. So
that is naughty. That is constructive dismissal.
So by this time next year, everything would have come into place. And now the risk for employers mostly is that there is no cap for compensatory award.
Yeah, that one is scary.
2027.
Yeah.
That is, if you employ me and you are paying me like 120,000 a year, and then you dismiss me unfairly. If I go to court, by the time they calculate all the damages and everything, you could pay through your nose. So now employers will be very, very careful. Very, very careful now. They don't want to run foul of the law. So what we are saying in essence is that as an employee, as an immigrant employee, try to know your rights when it comes to your job.
Which is always true.
Know your rights, know your responsibilities, cover your back always, so that in case, if there is trouble, you are able to fight your case and your case is not so bad, because a lawyer is not a magician. If your case is bad, your case is bad. He will try his best, but at the end of the day, the judge will say, yeah, your lawyer did his best, but your case is bad and my hands are tied. There's nothing I can do. But if you have a good case, you have a good case. If you have a bad case, as a lawyer, we try to
help,
to rely on technicalities, and that is what Mr. Badido has been talking about, procedure and everything. Because, for example, you said you are the one that witnessed the event where I was sleeping. And then at the end of the day, you are now the investigator again. No, how can you be the witness and the investigator? Now you say how they sleep. Now you see they investigate. Say, yes, I have a case to answer. Exactly. That's a serious issue now. Exactly. That's a serious procedural breach now.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Can I just share the story? Because I was about to share the same story before HR stepped into the conversation.
Sorry, apologize. Continue. Apologize.
Okay, so the example I was trying to share, I mean, this is a case I'm currently handling, right? The manager of... Sorry?
No, you carry on, sir.
Yeah, so the manager was currently the manager of the employee, was the one who raised the first issue of safeguarding, right? And the manager wrote. In fact, she was not first witness who wrote. There were 3 witnesses, and she was the first person who wrote a witness statement that indicted that employee, right? After doing that, she then proceeded to investigate herself. She was the only investigator. She investigated herself. She wrote a report, and based on that report, she then referred this employee to the disciplinary hearing. So that was the example I was trying to share with everyone to say, look, you can't do that.
That would not happen in it.
Natural justice.
That would never happen
simply means that
in NHS.
Cap of two or three different people.
That would never happen in NHS.
Be the investigator, and then a different person has to be the judge.
Yes.
You can't be at the same time. You can't wear 2 caps. So this case, this manager wore 2 caps. She was a witness against him. And also, she was also the investigator against him. So at the end of the day, the witness statement and also the investigation report indicted this guy. So at the end of the day, it's a case of, it's almost like a predetermined
outcome.
Case, because even if the case was good on their own part, they've already destroyed it by allowing such a thing to happen. So even if that's what I was trying to say earlier, that look, even if you are caught red-handed in the CCTV camera, right, doing something that you were not supposed to do,
we will
look for the weaknesses in your case or in the case against you.
Loopholes.
Yes, we look for the loopholes, and these loopholes might help you to reduce the effect of that decision they made, right? Instead of being unfairly dismissed, they might say, "Oh, let's send him back to training." All right. So you don't assume that, oh, because they've caught me on CCTV, that is the end of my life. No, it does not necessarily have to end there. There could be a way to mitigate all those issues, right? And
something quickly, sir.
Yes.
According to Peculiar, I think in your own case, you can talk about bigger organizations like NHS where they have, a proper HRO system, and that was the part HR Harley was coming from. But when you talk about the small care homes, how do you handle situations like that?
I think what happens most of the times. Okay, so sorry, I thought I have the floor. So sorry.
No, so what I wanted to say in response to that, so tribunals consider the size of the organization, right? So when it comes to that kind of situation, where there are only a few people that are at the top that are managing that organization, you still have to do your best to make it independent, right? You still have to look for a way. There are employees in the organization who have been there for a long time. They don't hold a higher portfolio than the managers. All right? So you can enlist the help of anybody who is not part of that
situation,
right? To say, oh, let this person investigate this aspect of the issue.
Actually, I'm actually enjoying this
an external investigator. You can also get somebody else to write the report. It doesn't have to be you doing everything. So even if you're a small organization, it's still not a substitute for not following the law, for not being independent in investigation.
Which is true.
Yes. cases, because I spend time looking at the cases, because that is where you will know the law. When you spend time looking at the cases at the tribunal, you realize how much employers are being punished by the tribunal for not even doing a reasonable investigation. So there's this principle, there's this central case law in employment law that deals with unfair dismissal. It's called the Burchell test. The Burchell test has 3 limbs. The first limb is, number 1, your employer must have a reasonable belief that this reasonable belief must be the basis for your dismissal, right? So if the belief is not reasonable, then it is not a fair dismissal. Secondly, your employer must conduct a reasonable investigation.
Yep.
Right? And when it comes to reasonable investigation, it must be as expansive as possible. So, for instance, if you are accused of not doing against you, they will not appear at that hearing. You are the only one that will appear, which means that they've already accepted the evidence of that person without questioning that evidence, right? Meanwhile, you, even if you put in a witness statement, they will still come and make you answer questions at that hearing.
It just call my attention to a very important point of law now, because cross-examination is what you are talking about.
Exactly.
Yeah, and you have to test the veracity of the evidence.
Yes.
You have to ask the questions, but it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen at all in disciplinary hearings around that. You don't get to see them. They even tell you not to talk to any employer. Don't discuss with anybody. Don't, you know.
Well, why did they say that? Why? You have to say that.
And let me also say this, please. If you are undergoing any investigation as an employee, you have a right, you have absolute right, regardless of the confidentiality involved, right, to forward any document to your solicitor. Just make sure you get your solicitor's official email, right? I don't care if the document is password protected. I don't care if it is. I don't care the level of detail in that document, as long as it's not a classified document of the level of national intelligence, right? If the organization is not in national intelligence, you are not doing anything relating to intelligence or intelligence gathering or whatever, you are fine. But as long as it is a normal employment, you have the right to forward those documents to your solicitor. You are covered by legal privilege. Any communication between you and your solicitor is confidential by law, right? It's protected. So those, even if you forward it to somebody else, you might be guilty of sharing a confidential document. But if you forward it to your solicitor, it's a completely different thing, right? So you need to take note of that. Some of you don't share those documents with us on time, and so it has already indicted you, it has put you in problem. Then you now come to us and like Mr. Lawal said, we are not magicians. If your case has already become bad, I will not suddenly turn it to a good case. So you need to start updating your solicitor from the first day. Okay, they accuse you today, tell your solicitor. They send you an email today, forward it to your solicitor. They tell you, oh, we are going to investigate you, we are going to discipline you. Forward those information to your solicitor so that they can know on time and they can know how to protect you throughout that process. Because once the deed is done, there's no more food on your table and you're now fighting a case at the tribunal. You might win eventually, but you will go hungry for months without a job.
Even years.
Once they see that you have support, right, during that process, they will know. These people know when you have support. When they see the type of documents you are submitting, they see that, oh, this is not the person submitting this document. It's not this person that drafted this thing.
Yes, we know.
So at that point, you might even not be dismissed. Instead of now allowing the process to take its full course against you, and you are now dismissed, you are now looking for help before the tribunal. So it's always good to prevent than to cure later. And that's just all I will say.
What is the cost of retaining?
That's the question.
What is the cost of them retaining a solicitor? If an investigation,
that one is not personal. You have to come to me personally.
don't know why you did, but both of you just actually.
It's just
what I ask is that how many people listening here can actually confidently keep a solicitor for 11 months if there is an investigation for 11 months? That's what I'm asking you. I'm not asking you.
Even tribunal dates are now in like maybe 2028. That's how far away it is. For you to get the tribunal date is around nearly 2 years at least.
Yeah, 100%.
So for me to keep a lawyer, for 2 years, how many people here can afford it?
Mr. Bekulia. So relationship is very key. Okay. So in law, there's what we call contingency fee arrangement, and then there's what we call hourly rates. If we charge you hourly, do you understand my point? So contingency fee is simply that if you win this case, so this is what you're going to pay me and all that, and you're not even the one paying that money. It's the employer. Because once you are able to get judgment before the tribunal, the court will award what we call costs. That is your cost of litigation.
Mm-hmm.
So all the money from day one, we will calculate, we will do what is called bill of costs.
Yep.
We do it, submit it to the court, and it will be assessed if parties are unable to agree. You understand my point? But the down part is, if you can't go loose, you will pay that money, you will still pay the other side.
That's what I'm asking you. So if I'm on a trial for 2 years, if I'm on an investigation for 2 years, and at the end of the day I lost the case, so how many people?
That is what Solicitor Badido is saying about preventing in the first place.
I understand the part of
mitigate your loss.
I understand the part of the preventing, but one thing that lawyers know for sure, every lawyer in this world know that first, your client does not tell you the absolute truth from the beginning. All lawyers know that.
In that case, you are not helping yourself.
I know. I understand.
But Becky, please wait 1 moment. Why would you're still for help, and I would lie to a lawyer who is meant to represent me? Why would I want to do that?
Common sense is not common.
Mimat, I can tell you, if you gather 10 lawyers, let all of them comment on what I just said. All of them will tell you, see, the same thing applies to which other profession? Doctors.
Yeah.
People who go to hospital, they are feeling whatever thing, but they go to the hospital because of the problem they have. The same people will get to that doctor and you ask them what is wrong with them, and they will start explaining what was wrong 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. What is wrong with you now? They cannot say what is wrong now. It's what is wrong 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 3 months ago I was feeling this. But lawyers, specifically, every lawyer knows this. When people come to you, they only tell you a sweet story. And when you start the case, Number one, generalization is not. I don't agree with generalization. What percentage of accurate? What a percentage of accurate?
I don't have the data to prove that. But one thing is very important.
No, I'm not asking you.
As lawyers, the way we are trained.
The way we are trained.
Hold on, Mr. Pekulia. The way we are trained as lawyers. If you tell me a story and there's a gap, I know. If I question you, if I cross-examine you, I will know. I can ask you one question in 5 different ways. I will know. You will stutter. You will change your position. See, I've done a case before in Nigeria where a particular builder built, and then he wasn't using the right materials and all that, and then the building collapsed, and then the building killed 34 people. So when he was telling me his own side of the story, he was not saying the truth. And then in the process of pre-trial counseling, I got to know the truth. And you won't believe how I told him off. And then he begged me. You understand? At the end of the day, I managed to get him out of the whole wahala by the grace of God. But the thing is, the way lawyers are trained, okay, in school we did logic now. We did psychology. So it's not for, say, you just do for doing sake. It's part of the training. You understand? So if something is not logical, we know. If there is a premise and then there's a conclusion and there is no flow between the premise and the conclusion, we know. We read the gap, we know. We may keep quiet, fine, we may not. Or we may tell you off to say, look, you are not speaking the truth. But believe me, if you feel your lawyer do not know, no, he knows. He must have done that kind of a case before. You understand my point? That is why if you tell a lawyer to write a letter for you, and then when he writes, or maybe he writes like a statement of case in the court, he may likely call you to say, lawyer, why you write like say you did here when the whole thing happened? It's the way we are trained. You understand? And then the bottom line is, if you don't tell your lawyer your case, who will you tell your case? Is it God? God will not come down. Exactly.
That makes lots of sense.
There's what is called in law. There's what is called client confidentiality. Okay, and then in medical they call it patient confidentiality. So whatever you tell your lawyer will not tell the third party, not even your wife, not even your mom. You understand my point? Unless you give your express consent, or there are some factors that the lawyer must disclose, maybe in the interest of the public or whatever.
Yeah.
The lawyer must disclose. Yeah, the lawyer will now disclose that. But a lawyer cannot just disclose what to discuss with you. If you tell a lawyer, say, "Let me kill him," he won't tell the court that you did not kill him. He will just tell the court or the prosecutor, prove your case that he killed him. You understand? And he will rely on all the procedural errors and all that to help you. And then if your case is bad, obviously, it's not a magician, it's bad, it's bad. But if you are supposed to go in for 10 years, you might even get 5 years. You understand? So if you don't open up to your lawyer, who are you doing? You are doing yourself. So to doctors now, it's even easy. By the time the carriers can carry this, all those infections, you see it now. So what are you hiding? What are you hiding?
I have a question, please.
My first question has not been answered,
Okay, what answer do you want us to say? You cannot retain
my question. Do you remember my first question?
You said
yes. No. What happens if I have you on and I have a 2 years investigation and at the end I did not win? So I am in two. Is that not double one for the body?
So this is it now. If you bring a case to me, okay, and then we discuss your case, and then I advise you.
Sagabi, please remove pastor from that story. Continue.
That was my response. I wanted to respond to him and say, two, but not the last one, not pastor. Pastor K.
So now, so if you engage me, there's what is called client care memo or client care letter. I'm sure that HR, your legal, this will be writing it to you every now and then that you have given us this case. This is the strength of your case.
Yeah.
This is the weakness of your case.
Yeah.
This is my suggestion.
Yeah.
This is this. I will put everything down for you in black and white.
Yes, we do. We get them. Say, we are taking these points.
Or let's not go ahead.
Yeah.
You understand my point? And if you say go ahead, you're giving your consent.
Yeah.
Whatever happens at the end of the day, fine, it's not up to you.
Yeah.
You understand my point? If you have a good case against your employer, I will tell you, this is your good case. This is the weakness in your case. However, it could go either way. I don't know the way the judge's mind is working. If it goes in your favor, this is what happens. If it does not go in your favor, this is what happens. You understand my point? At this point, okay, let's offer them settlement. You understand? Oh, yeah, pay me 5,000. Let me go. I don't will fight you again. No. We know if you pay, we will pay 3,000. That happens well.
Of course.
You understand? Or maybe your employer says, this one, your ally is too much. We're going to give you in law, there's what we call Part 36 offer. So it cannot be used against you in the court that you've considered or whatever. No, it's without prejudice.
Yeah.
Let's offer this man 10,000 compensation. Let him carry his wala go. You say you don't want. I don't want the 10,000. I must fight them. I advise you, bro, collect this 10,000. Maybe come on to you say no. I have a good case. At the end of the day, the court now said, okay, you are entitled to compensation of 8,000. What happened? Voila. You understand? Because you cannot even recover up to the amount they are offered you. So these are matters of law that I'm not good at explaining things to people, so it might not really be clear to you. Maybe my friend Bandijo can do justice to that. But I understand your fear. So you are trying to take a calculated risk. But I am telling you that from the get-go, there's what we call a client care letter. So there's a reason they call it that, client care letter. This is the strength of your case. This is the weakness of your case. If you go this way, this is it. This is my advice. You understand me? To be there in black and white. So it's now up to you to now give your instruction on what you want us to do for you. Or it's always better to fight than not to fight at all, you know.
Yeah, I want to quickly address a question, but before I do that, I will respond to your question. I don't know who asked the question, sorry, but I will respond to your question. Oh, Mr. Peculiar, okay. So, you see, first of all, the first thing you should do is not to think about what your solicitor will charge you. No, the first thing is speak to your solicitor first. Right? Most solicitors will charge you a consultation fee, and it's usually very reasonable. At least to talk to you first of all. From that consultation, you will know whether you want to proceed or not. And what I will tell you is this, right? You should ideally, first of all, understand your issues from the perspective of the solicitor. Because don't get me wrong. All the issues that you're having that made you go to the solicitor in the first place, you are only seeing it from your own perspective. And your perspective might be wrong. So why not just go and listen to somebody, at least in the first instance, to even know if their perspective might be different from yours, and then listen to how they are proposing to help you. And if you don't do a consultation, how do you want to even know how they will help you? How they will propose to help you? How do you want to even know the options you have on the table? Right? So, but the way I see your question is as if you are approaching it with a closed mind. You should have an open mind when you're having an issue. Approach issues with a very open mind. Go to your solicitor, and your solicitor will always look for options. You know, there are cases where you don't take all the money at once. There are cases where you defer your payment till later. There are cases where you just want to break it up into smaller pieces. So depending on how your case is and depending on your pocket, your solicitor will always have a way of, you know, adjusting to your requirements. So that should not be a problem. No, first of all, you need to speak to your solicitor to even know how things will move forward. Then I saw a question in the comment section. It says, barrister, can one still go to tribunal after they've been dismissed for 6 months? Okay, so this question is a tricky question, right?
Yeah.
Tricky in the sense that if you are looking as of today, thank you, Barrister Lawal. You have already gone through the ERA 2025, but the current law in respect of this issue is the ERA 1996, because that is still in operation, right?
Yeah.
Now you see, it depends on the reason for going to the tribunal, right? If the reason for dismissal is purely unfair, you are saying it's an unfair dismissal, right? It's ordinary unfair dismissal, then you might not be able to go to the tribunal until you have spent 6 months in that place from first. So they count the period between now and January 2027. So people who gain their employment between July and December 2026 will be able to make a claim from January 1st, 2027. Right, if they've spent 6 months, but people before cannot, right? So the current law is still 2 years. However, like Mr. Lawal explained earlier, if there's a discrimination component to the whole issue, right, whether it's disability, under the Equality Act 2010, we have 9 protected characteristics. Yep. Those 9 protected characteristics are characteristics that involve
some sort of discrimination.
They are attached to your person. So if any of those characteristics are affected by reason of an external decision against you, you can use those as the basis for bringing a claim in addition to your unfair dismissal claim. So I'll give you an example. Those 9 characteristics: age is included, pregnancy, race, nationality, right, disability. These are all part of the characteristics. I can't remember all 9, but they are all part of the characteristics. characteristics.
Pregnancy.
Now, let's say, for instance, you were unfairly dismissed at work, and somehow, somebody during that process, while they were dismissing you, said, look at him. He's already 50 years old. Let's even use this process to get him out of this whole thing. You know, he's already 50 years old. We need younger people. That's why he cannot wipe somebody's bum very well and all that. You know, so all those things, apart from the unfair dismissal itself, which is connected to your performance, that you did not do your job very well, right? The other issue that has been raised in that process is your age. And your age is a protected characteristic. So even if you have not spent 2 years with your employer at that point, the moment discrimination comes into the picture, you have access to the tribunal, right? On the basis of that discrimination. So your question is a yes and no at the same time. I hope I've been able to answer that question. Talk to your solicitor first of all. If you don't talk to your solicitor, how will you even know whether your circumstances is an exception to the general rule of 2 years, right? You need to know how your situation fits into the picture. And let me tell you one thing: the moment you raise such a discrimination issue to the tribunal now has a duty to look at that discrimination issue and also the issue of unfair dismissal. So it's like you're eating your cake and having it, right? That is one way of looking at it. So, but that is not to say that in every case that they unfairly dismiss you, then automatically you break discrimination. No, that's not the way it is. That's an abuse of process, right? But if there's a genuine discrimination issue arising out of that unfair dismissal, then you have access to the tribunal, regardless of whether you spent 1 day or 2 days with the employer. Okay? So that needs to be very clear. So, and as I was saying earlier, your employer has to satisfy three main links under the Burchell test in terms of unfair or in terms of dismissal. The first one, like I said earlier, reasonable belief. Second one, reasonable investigation. Third one, the response to your conduct or whatever happened must be within the band of reasonable responses.
Must be investigated as well.
Yes. So when I mean band of reasonable responses, that means the decision they reached after completing the investigation, it must be a reasonable decision, right? For instance, an issue of asking you to go to training or suspension should not be elevated to an issue of dismissal. So if, for instance, a resident was being assisted with, say, personal care, for instance, and in the course of assisting a resident with personal care, right, you do not allow them you do not support them enough to exercise their own interest, to do what they want to do, and in the course of that, they now report you and say, oh, this person did not ask me whether I wanted to wear this clothes, or did not ask me whether I wanted to use this particular toothpaste. That is not an issue for misconduct. That is an issue of training. Okay, so you need to understand the differences between gross misconduct, and ordinary, training issue. And tribunals have also said, this one is even clear. And when I read that decision recently, I was just smiling. It is not every case of gross misconduct that leads to dismissal.
True.
The law is clear that there are some cases where gross misconduct does not equate to dismissal. It might even equate to training, further training,
or even a warning letter.
Or a warning letter.
Now, if an employee has been working with an employer for 65 years, and then the employee has never had any disciplinary issue or performance issue, and then this is the first one, just like first offender in criminal law, you understand? So these are mitigating factors.
Yeah.
And then you now say, based on this, so pursue and let him go. No, you don't do that. Now, look, we understand that you have been in this position before now, blah, 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 blah. And then you are guilty of this. So therefore, we are issuing you a warning letter. You can even issue a final warning letter.
Yep.
You understand? So it's not everything that you outrightly or summarily dismiss an employee. So it is very important as an employer that we are careful when taking decisions in order not to put ourselves into unnecessary risk in terms of litigation and the financial implications that comes with it. And most importantly, reputational damage. Also, if you go to court, you'll be surprised. There will be press and media there. The next day, you can just see NHS dismiss a staff suffering dyslexia, blah blah. And then they put the whole thing there. You understand my point? So that's a serious reputational issue. You understand? So it is very important that we are clear on that. And I believe that my colleague, Mr. Badejo, has done justice to that, especially on the issue of the case law. Yeah. So if we can get more questions.
Yeah, there's a question here that says, is gross misconduct not broad? Good question, Ms. Peculiar. You see, that's what I was saying earlier, that you see your policy, your internal policy, and this is not...
That's the Bible now. That's the Bible now. Abi, it's the Bible now. Firstly, know what those policies are saying. They call it, what is it called again? HRLI, please help us. That handbook that contains all the disciplinary issues and all that, the do's and don'ts.
That's just the normal policies, your employment policy.
Employers handbook or employees handbook or whatever.
In the NHS is different because we have different policies for different things and it's not contained within one thing.
One document,
yeah. Because we have different policies. So within each NHS trust, we always have different policies. But we are all governed by the AFC handbook. And that's where all the policies are drawn from.
We define what a misconduct is and all that.
Yes.
It's always within the policy.
When you talk about misconduct, it's subjective.
It is.
Misconduct in one organization might not be a misconduct in another organization. For example, let's say, where I work, maybe I can drink wine. You understand? In another organization, you can't do it. You get what I mean? So it all depends on the policy, truly, the internal documents. So which we all have to familiarize ourselves with, so that we know what we are doing. Because to get work now, is not to now talk of going to court and all that. It's not going to be fun. You pay bills every month, every week, and all that. So you don't want to find it funny. But please don't kill yourself because of you are doing everything. Don't kill yourself because of any resident too. So they will say it's a safeguarding issue. Your life is too, especially with mental health.
Before they send you to Almighty God.
Yeah.
Please, can I ask my question before I go see Samima?
Yes, please.
Okay. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Please, I just want to bring this up because it's an ongoing case now. I have a colleague. We used to work like agencies before, but I later got permanent job before her. So when we are doing our work as an agency, so there's this lady. She's 2-to-1. Yeah, she's 2-to-1. So when you come on board to support her either day or night, she doesn't wake up from in the morning. She can only wake up from 2 or 3 p.m. So by 3 p.m., you continue to prompt her to come out of her room till 6 p.m. Then it's only night staff that suffers everything, but she'll wake up around 7 and she'll be awake till 5:30 in the morning. So on this very day, this lady came to work. So she went in to introduce herself to her that she has come to resume work. She was like, "Why did you enter my room?" The lady was like, "I came to tell you that I am the one taking over from this staff." She said, "You shouldn't have entered into my room. Get off my room." So the girl quietly left her room. So she later came out of the corridor where there was cameras. So because you go to her after every 15 minutes. So the lady went to her for the first 15 minutes. She was like, "Did they tell you that I've not eaten?" The girl said, "No." She was like, "You're a liar. Why would they tell you that I've not eaten? They should have told, because I know they should have told you that I've not eaten." The girl said, "No, they didn't tell me anything. They just told told me that you just woke up, around 6, but you remained in your room till now. She said, so you should have not eaten. The girl kept quiet. So she started abusing the girl, swearing at the girl before other clients. So the lady was like, why are you swearing at me before your other clients? That is not nice. She was like, you shut up. You don't talk when I'm talking. You should keep quiet until I finish talking. Don't be rude. And I called the girl and said, come inside. Don't talk to her. So another 15 minutes, the girl went. She was like, you need to prove to me that you're not lying to me because you told me that I did not tell you that I've not eaten. The girl was like, you know what? I don't want us to discuss about it. If you want me to make food for So we started hearing the voice. So we continued watching from the camera inside the office. So the third one, when she was coming to push the girl now used her right hand and it kind of stopping the girl from pushing her the third time. So one client was coming upstairs that time and I saw when she did that, the client now called the manager and said that she saw an agency staff pushed one of the clients. So the manager now rang the office and said that he should send that agency home. That this was what the company she just had. So we're like, no, that's not what happened. The manager insisted that the person should go home. And I told the lady to call our agency on call and explain what happened. So she called and explained everything that happened. They now sent her home and suspended the girl for 3 weeks. So I was like, why are you not writing to them to talk to you? Why would they just suspend you without any information? They will tell you that we are doing an investigation. What are they investigating? They have cameras. They should watch their cameras. So after 3 weeks, they called her. She called them and said, why they're not talking to her? They said they have not gotten enough evidence to do the meeting. She was like, okay. So I kept pressuring her to keep talking to those people to fix the meeting. So someone now advised her not to go alone, that she should look for a lawyer that will support her. So I was like, okay. So she now got a lawyer. The lawyer now told her to forward all the documentation she made that night, that she need to see and read what happens. So she now called me and said, look at what I said, forward everything. He had every right to ask you for that document because that is what he will look into to know what to do. So she forwarded everything to the lawyer. The lawyer was like, if this thing you sent me was what happened, so what are they saying? Why were you suspended? I'm happy that the HR is here too. So why were you suspended if this thing you sent me was what happened? The girl was like, I don't know. The lawyer said, okay, go first for this meeting. When whatever they say, just let me know. If it's negative against you, I will come after the company. So the girl now went for the meeting. So when she went, they now said, oh, there was an allegation that you said that you were hit by a client. The girl said it wasn't an allegation. She did it. That they should watch the camera. So when she was leaving, she called me and I told her to, don't say anything. Just tell them to watch the camera first. Because there was 3 cameras there that will review everything that happened that night. I told her to tell them to watch the camera before you say anything. They can't just call you to come and say something where they have cameras there to tell them everything that happened that day. So when she went, they now told her to say everything that happened that very day. She now said that, is it not better they watch the camera? before asking her any question. They said, yeah, that I've watched the camera, but they want her to say something by herself.
No.
And after that, if you don't know, if you cannot say anything or you're not sure of what to say, don't make any sentence. Tell them to schedule the meeting so that you can come back and meet the lawyer. So she went. Anyway, when she came back, she said she told them everything that happened that night, and they were documenting so many things that she's scared. I said, you don't need to be scared because you did not do anything. You defended yourself. We are not trained, so you defended yourself. You broke. You used the what they call it, intervention breakout techniques to defend yourself. That was what you did. So after everything, they now said, because the training has expired, that she shouldn't have used it, this, that. I was like, the training has expired, but we've been requesting for this training. They said they have not gotten space to send us for the training. So why are they using it against you? So up till for 3 months, the girl was suspended. So after everything, we tried to contact the lawyer. We couldn't get his number again. So the girl was like, after 3 months, they called her back, but they did not pay her for that.
Apologies, Ogowa. So what is your question? Because
they did not pay her for that 3 months. They did not pay her for that 3 months. So the girl was like, can she appeal that they should pay her for that 3 months? Because they have called her back and said she should continue working, but they did not pay her for that 3 months. So she was like,
she's an agency staff, isn't it?
Yes.
And her hours is 0 hours contract, isn't it? Most agency staff are like that, so she won't be paid.
Yeah.
So that's what this new law that is coming in is trying to correct. You understand? There will be guaranteed hours, guaranteed earnings for everyone. So because she's an agency staff who signed a 0 hours contract, so they will likely not pay her. You understand my point?
Okay.
Yeah. Can I ask you a question, please?
Yeah.
Okay. Guaranteed hour, you said.
Okay.
If an employer guarantee me 10 hours a week, but every other hour is calculated now as overtime. Even in this kind of case, if I am suspended, because if there is guaranteed hour, there is no minimum number of guaranteed hour. If you are a part-time staff.
No, there's minimum number. So for example, if you are a full-time staff, they say your hours is 36 hours, 36 hours. That's
no part-time.
If you are part-time, they say your hours is 20 hours. That's the minimum. If they say 16 hours, it depends on the contract.
That's what I'm saying. So what if my hours that is contracted is just 5 hours?
You'll be entitled to 5 hours pay.
So that's the getaway. That's the getaway change from this thing now.
Yeah, that's what I said.
0 hours. 0 hours is no longer needed. So for people, because me, I'm in the employer bracket. I know I'm asking questions like from employee, but I know that this is what employers are doing now. They are putting everybody on the BRS multiple hour, like 6 hours a week. And if you work 30 hours, you get 24 hours as overtime. Then you will be on 6 hours. So that even if you are suspended, we can manage to pay you 6 hours without any problem.
Very tricky.
So, as you are getting lawyer on the side of the employee, we are getting advisor on the side of the employer too. Employer will tell you that as far as you give contracts to the person, even if you give them 1 hour, as far as that's their contracted hour, they signed it. They have now is not 0 hour, is 1 hour. So that means if we suspend you, we will give you paid suspension. Which means
suspension. Normally, even before the new law, suspension should be paid. You understand? It should be suspension with pay, not suspension without pay.
Yes. So in that case, if your minimum hours signed is 4 hours a week, for example, that means for a whole month, we only owe you 20 hours when you are suspended.
If that's what the contract says.
Yes. So this is, I'm just.
And then don't forget, there is a law that is called Unfair Contract Act. Okay. So if the contract is unfair, the ERA 2025 will also come in.
The unfair contract will be on, it's not normally on number of hours, it's normally mostly on pay, not on the number of hours.
It's on the terms. It's on the terms of the contract.
Yeah.
Yes. The numbers of hours is one of them. Which the pays is one of them. You understand my point? Yes. When we talk about unfair contracts,
I can hear you, sir.
If we talk about unfair contracts, somebody is disturbing.
Sorry, I muted him. Yeah.
Okay. So if we talk about unfair contracts, it has to do with the entire terms of the contract. You understand? Including the numbers of hours, the pay, and everything. You understand my point?
So I'm trying to understand it in a way that, so can you say a contract is unfair because you are doing more overtime than your main hour?
I'm not saying that.
Okay.
I'm saying that, for example, now, you said you want to give somebody a guaranteed hours every week. And give the person 1 hour as a guaranteed hour, okay? But the person can end up doing 51 hours in a week, okay? And the person has been doing that for a year, okay? And you say the person is being investigated. And you say the person is being investigated, and you suspend the person with pay, isn't it? And then you now say you suspend the person for 4 weeks. And at the end of the 4 weeks, you say you're only entitled to 4 hours pay. Is the contract fair or unfair?
It depends on
It is unfair. See, we are talking law now, it's not emotions.
Wait, so this is
unfair
let me say something.
By the time the tribunal steps in,
let me answer you based on real life scenario now. I'm not trying to answer theory. I'm trying to answer it based on if me, the employer, also get my contract renewed by my contractor every month. You cannot say, even if you work with me for 10 years, you cannot say it's unfair because I don't know next month.
That will now be put to test during trial. I don't want to go through all that because litigation
that is it. Why would I not want to go through it? If there is a proof that I am, for example, I'm getting contract with the council and they only sign it.
Mr. Pekele, I understand you. So if the contract you are getting with council, if what you can employ is just to employ 5 people and give them 30 hours a week, it's fine. Okay? So you now employ...
That's not normally how it... But I understand. I have heard... You know, you're speaking from solicitor's point of view.
Yeah, I'm speaking from the angle, but I'm trying to mitigate your risk for you because when it happens, you pay. Because this person will bring all the pay slip and everything to say, look, our contract is 1 hour a week, isn't it? But this is the only job I have. And then somebody came with an unfounded allegation. Before anything, you suspended me for 4 weeks. After your investigation, you understand? You tell me, no case to answer, come back to work. You now say you pay me 1 hour every week. You get what it means? So constructively, you made me to lose the job I am supposed to do. You get what I mean? It will not be there black and white on the paper. In as much as the court looks at the express terms between parties, they also look at conduct too. You understand? So by the time you see, law sometimes sounds illogical. And then that is why people say lawyers lie, judges, they have correct right, blah, blah, blah. No, it's not always 100% correct. You get what I mean? So if your contract from the council, if what you can afford is 20 hours for 2 staff, just take 2 staff.
No, but that's not how it is. For the security of the job, such job, you cannot keep only 2 people on the payroll. Because if any of them fail, for example, there are jobs that are depending on life. If a person call 1 minute to the end, you must call somebody else. You cannot now put 2 people. So somebody that is not within the work setting cannot determine this is how you should dictate, how you should plan the work schedule. They don't know how the operation works. So it's a frontline role. So it's difficult for you to say, if the contract is only sufficient for 2 full-time people.
I understand your point 100%. Okay, but at the same time, you don't want to go through the rigor of proving all this it costs money. You understand? So you have to sit down and withdraw your map to say, okay, maybe I need 3 people or 4 people. And then if issue of allegations happen, okay, what do I do to mitigate the circumstances? Can I maybe you have like 5 clients in different locations. Okay, I will not send this person to this client again. Let me send him to another location pending the time investigation is completed. You get what I mean? So by doing so, you have taken like a reasonable step to mitigate the whole situation, and at the same time to still ensure that compliance is done in terms of ensuring that people comply with safeguarding issues and all that. You get my point now. So not to just say, okay, well, yeah, you go on suspension, and then the person has been working with you for years, and then after 4 weeks, you call the person back, no case to answer, come and start your work. You understand? If it's black person might not fight, but a white person will definitely fight something. We say, we count emotional trauma, emotional this, that, you pay all that money, guarantee you pay it. I can bet you. You understand what it means? So, as an employer or an employee, first time you have issues, you talk to your legal advisors. They advise you on the right steps. Even what they will tell you, you might even do it before. But it's better to always confirm from them. And if you don't agree with them, we also advise people to seek independent legal advice. Ask another lawyer and then check. You understand what I mean? So, if you contact me today and I advise you, this is the way. Tomorrow you can contact Mr. Badijo. You understand? Another independent legal advisor to advise you on what and what not to do. You get what I mean? So it's very important. I believe I've been able to answer your question, Mr. Abegule.
Yeah, no problem.
But you are not satisfied.
No, he's not.
There is no normally in certain questions. It's only mathematics that have yes.
Yeah, it depends on the fact of the case, but
yes. So that's why your answer is satisfactory to that.
All right, thank you so much for that.
So a barrister Lawal and Barrister Temi, and we also have HR Hali. Welcome on board, Peculiar.
There are 85 people. On live. They did Dubai. Come on.
Any other question, please?
Any other question? If you're yet to follow them, please do well to follow them. They deal with immigrations, anything immigration, employment, use to talk about it. They are here to help, and if you need them, all you need to do is to follow them. We have a community. Reach out to me. I can, get them on board straight away. They have a consultation fee as well. You will need to pay, but just let me know, or you follow them straight away and reach out to them personally. And in regards to HR Hali too, if you know you have issues, she works with NHS and she's a senior HR personnel there. If you haven't followed her, please do well to follow her as well. And for those of you who are still looking you have a question, let me bring you up. Send your request, my brother. Who are still looking I have someone who has a question. Who are still looking to come on the MBQ3? You are still contemplating on the MBQ3 now is a passport. Now to getting job, anything care job in the UK from what we've noticed lately. So if you know you are here to book send your request, my brother, highly favored, my sister. Okay, yeah, you saying, sorry. If you know you are here to book your section, we are currently onboarding for the month of May. Kindly reach out to me, Matt Porsche. My number is on my TikTok bio. Or if you are interested in joining the community as well, just reach out to me. The number is there and I would add you to his. Thank you so much. Over to you, highly favored.
Yeah, thank you, Mimat, and thank you, other guest speakers. My question is this. The issue was working over 20 hours. It's actually a COS issue. That is, COS was revoked, and then the primary or the secondary company that I was working with, I worked over 20 hours. So a new company took over the company, which they did the handover and all. Then I told them that I'm looking for COS, so I would like to work with them because they gave us option if you want to opt out, if you want to continue. And they were told from the beginning that I told them from the beginning that I need a COS and my sponsorship was revoked. They said, okay, we'll look into it. So when they started giving quotas, they put it more than 20 hours. I remember I told one of them, I said, I told you people about the COS, so how far? They said they will look into it. So we worked with them for 2 months. And in the second month, one day I was preparing for job to go to my normal duty. And I was called that, they're looking into their normal onboarding. They can see that my payslip is not recording where with my normal, that is with my CEO, where the people that brought me. So I told them, well, I don't have receipt of that because Home Office has written me that is revoked, but I should look for another COS, which taking you people as my prospective.
Sorry, before you carry on, sorry, one moment, because HRO, she's leaving, HRO Halle, she's leaving now. Can you kindly give her 1 minute because she needs to pass the information? Yeah, over to you, HRO Halle. Stop it.
Hi guys, so sorry for cutting you off, highly favored. I was just about to leave. They've been giving me eyes to get off this live. Just wanted to let everyone know that I'll be having a masterclass next week Saturday at 7 o'clock for people that are interested in coming into the NHS. So it's a masterclass that tells you how to come into the NHS from when you decide to start applying to your interview. So it's not about me doing everything for you at this point. It's about you understanding all the different things that actually takes for you to make a successful application. If you're interested in learning how to make a successful application into the NHS, you would do well to come and join this masterclass next week, Saturday at 7 o'clock. It's very informative, and I'll also be giving you 3 different things at the end of the masterclass to help with your application process. And you also have direct contact with me as well, following on from this masterclass. The masterclass is £80, a nominal fee, but the value for this masterclass is nearly £600 value. So you will gain a lot from joining this masterclass. If you want to join the masterclass, send me a DM on TikTok and I'll send you the link. Because I don't have up to 1,000 subscribers, so I can't send links directly on my TikTok. So send me a DM on TikTok and I would send you the link to join the masterclass. And I look forward to seeing everyone in this masterclass. Trust me, when you come for this masterclass, you would not feel as if you haven't known anything. You would learn a lot, and it would definitely help and improve your applications into the NHS. Thank you so much. And thank you to all the solicitors. It's been an amazing conversation. These are the kind of conversations I like to have, very intellectual, and you guys are both very knowledgeable in what you do. And I pray God continue to bless the works of your hand in Jesus' name. Have a good evening, everybody, and thank you so much for the love you've shown to me and Mimat as well.
Thank you, Halle.
Yeah. Mimat, you're on mute.
Mimat, yeah.
Oh, I said, sorry, if you're here to follow her, please do well to follow her.
Yeah.
And ensure that you book a section on the masterclass coming up on Saturday next week.
Yeah.
As you can see, it's been discounted already.
Yeah.
Over to you.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you, Sid.
Bye.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
How the civil service interview. I don't know if you have you got.
Jesus, Eunice.
A section. Not session, but section. Hey,
Have a good